Okay, everybody, let's see if we can do this with the new headset. I'm not completely familiar with this contraption yet, but I'm going to make a video about this delivery or mailing of all these funny odd pipe bombs. This guy Savak in Florida with the United States government, the FBI got all upset about. Many years ago, at about 2:45 in the morning, after many months of the FBI flying their FLIR aircraft over my home in Texas, they flew right down on the treetops. They were visiting me, I guess. I didn't know it was them because of the rather unusual configuration of their FLIR aircraft, the Britain Defender. But in the middle of the night, my entire family was woken up to a large number of white phosphorus Starbright flares being dumped all over the roof of our house by the FLIR aircraft and the helicopter that they were using. Now, some people would say that that was a outlandish allegation. Well, I went in the following morning, just a couple of hours after all this happened, and I confronted the sheriff of Montgomery County, Texas, Guy Williams, in a packed courtroom. The county judge was on the bench, and the whole room was full of the county treasurer and the county clerk and all the commissioners. Old Sheriff Guy Williams was leaning up against the wall, and I was on the public address system, standing in front of the entire courtroom. And I explained to everybody in the room that the next time they tried to burn my home down, the feds tried to burn my home down with flares, I'd shoot the aircraft down. The Guy Williams, he kind of got a little upset with me. The sheriff of Montgomery County got a little upset with me that morning, asking me if I had something that could take out a helicopter, and I told him that I probably did, and I left the courtroom. Now, the reason that I don't find the attempt to burn my home down very funny is if you look into the history of Charlie Wilson's War and that gang of Triad members, the old Triad gang of Khashoggi, Ghebbanifar, and Bin Laden's, the Triad that were operating in uptown Houston, you'll quickly begin to understand that what I've written about and exposed extensively all over the world is how the Clintons and the Bushes were operating their secret little warfare operations from the Houstonian estates across from the 610 West Loop, right across the street from Memorial Park in uptown Houston, just a little bit up the street from Lamar Terrace, the rather unusual real estate development scheme of Adnan Khashoggi and his little pals there, the Bin Ladens, from the Gulf Manor Airport, and the Ghebbanifars, Khashoggi, Bin Laden, Bush, and Clinton gang. And no, that's not a stretch of the imagination. If you look up Charlie Wilson's War and Iran-Contra, you'll see that Oliver North and Richard Secord were heavily operating out of Houston, Texas, particularly the hotel at the Galleria, where they take up their little collections of super patriot, super secret money. Now, to move along here a little bit, I want to point out that the massive savings and loan and banking fiasco that went down in Dallas, and San Antonio, and Austin, and Houston, Texas, in the 1970s and the 1980s were directly connected to the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, where Terry Nichols and that McVeigh idiot apparently detonated a huge bomb in front of the Murrah Federal Courthouse. The unbelievable financial frauds in oil, gas, and minerals, the unbelievable racketeering and financial frauds associated with oil, gas, and minerals, and the Penn Square Bank and Andrew Fastow That was all coming together into some litigation in Oklahoma City. And right before those financial fraud and racketeering trials began, the federal courthouse, well, it got blown up. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the enormous, gargantuan financial scandals of U.S. history are directly connected to the Clintons and the Bushes and all their little pals like Mr. Sessions, Loretta Lynch, Elliot Spitzer, Henry B. Gonzalez, Phil Graham. The list just goes on and on, from Kevin Brady and Joe Barton of Conroe, Texas, to John Connally, the former Secretary of the Treasury that got shot in the front seat of the Kennedy limousine there in Dallas, to people like Osama bin Laden and the Contras and the freedom fighters, and Manuel Noriega, and the Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos were swapping and trading real estate all around Lake Conroe, Texas. Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos were swapping and trading real estate all around Lake Conroe, Texas, and all over the state of Texas, and all over the Gulf Coast of the United States. These are facts. These are not suppositions. Now, where I want to leave this video off at is down below. Down below, you'll find a bunch of links to hardcore information on Joanna Herring King, Secretary of State James Baker, Poppy, Big H Bush, W, and that whole gang from uptown Houston. And what you'll begin to understand is that the swamp that's all rigged, the rigged swamp, it's a great big party that you're not invited to, as old George Carlin would say. You take a look into these banking and mortgage market swindles and racketeering, and what you'll quickly begin to realize is that the Bushes and the Clintons and the Gabanafars and the Khashoggis and the Bin Ladens and Obama, and even the Trump princess, the yacht that Donald Trump bought from Adnan Khashoggi, you'll discover very quickly that Lamar Terrace in uptown Houston, the very heart of what I'll refer to as the Southwest Depot gang, the Southwest Depot Mafia. This is where Secord and North and Poindexter and Bud McFarlane and Reagan and the Bushes and the Clintons, this is where they were getting all their weapons. This is where they were shipping all their weapons to the so-called freedom fighters and the terrorists. Sort of like Gunwalker, only on steroids. And if you have any problem with that, just get a hold of Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch and ask them about the Southwest Depot and all those missing weapons from Fort Hood, Texas, and a number of other military reservations like Fort Smith, Arkansas, just as a matter of fact. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this sending of false pipe bombs, boy, the FBI didn't get all upset when my farm was bombed numerous times in Christian County, Missouri. They're outside of Ozark, Missouri, southeast of Springfield. My home was bombed numerous times. Horses mutilated, dogs killed and poisoned, fires set, you name it. Yeah, the FBI didn't get too upset about that. I'll tell you one little group that did do their job, and that was the Greene County Fire Marshal's office. The bomb maker went to prison. The bomb maker went to prison. That's for Donald Trump, and Jeff Sessions and Christopher Wray over at FBI. But yes, if anybody's got any information on how to get a hold of former Montgomery County Sheriff Guy Williams, make sure you send me a message and check out the link below, ladies and gentlemen. Hasta la vista, God bless, and as always, we will be back.